A young man was cleaning the head of a Buddha statue when, unexpectedly, tears of blood began to flow from its eyes. The monk in the temple saw this and immediately felt uneasy. Tears from a Buddha statue were an omen, signaling that something bad was about to happen. At the same time, an elderly woman working in the fields looked up to see strange black rain falling from the sky. She stood up in curiosity, watching as the previously clear sky suddenly became dark and overcast. Little did she know, this unusual phenomenon was connected to the Buddha head. It all started the night before, when villagers in Jinyang village were digging and uncovered a Buddha head. The head was about 10 feet tall, its eyes wrapped in cloth covered with Tibetan writing, and it had an eerie appearance. As soon as the statue was unearthed, crows from miles around swooped down. The village chief, however, didn't feel alarmed. Instead, he thought it was a blessing from heaven for the village, and he planned to profit from the statue. But little did he know, this foolish decision would lead to a great disaster for the villagers. The next day, the village chief arranged for the Buddha head to be transported to a museum for display. Before they left, the young man who was helping clean the statue with fresh water. At some point, the cloth that had been covering the Buddha's eyes mysteriously disappeared, but the young man didn't think much of it. Once the cleaning was done, he got in his car and drove the statue to the museum. After delivering the Buddha head, the young man went to a restaurant, planning to relax with a drink. But suddenly, his eyes began to feel dry and itchy. Thinking something had gotten into his eyes, he rushed to the restroom to wash them. Just then, he heard a familiar voice behind him. He turned around and was shocked to see his father, who had passed away many years ago. His father immediately demanded money from him. The young man was terrified and broke out in a cold sweat. In his panic, he shoved his father to the ground and quickly ran out of the restroom. To his horror, when he exited, his father was standing right in front of him. The young man sat down on the ground in fear, watching as his father slowly approached with a sinister expression on his face. In a desperate panic, the young man grabbed a bottle of liquor and smashed it over his father's head. Then, in a frenzy, he began to beat his father into the ground. When he finally came to his senses, he realized he had been attacking the restaurant's owner, who was now lying on the floor, barely breathing. What the young man didn't know was that this was just the beginning of the horrors that would unfold.